Morning everyone, and welcome back to the Runpreneur vlog, where we discuss all things entrepreneurship and running. It is a slightly warmer morning. It's about, feel like 1 degree out here today. Not a lot of breeze, so not too bad wintry conditions for running. And it is Wednesday Wellbeing today, where we discuss all things mindset, well-being, mental health, health related in the mind predominantly. And today's topic is about GETMO, which is an acronym that stands for good enough to move on. So it's a mindset trick, and it's a really cool one. So if you like this episode, as always, give it a like and a subscribe, and let's get started. So, GETMO, good enough to move on. Now this is a kind of a model. I saw there was an American speaker that I stumbled across. I can't even remember the guy's name, but I stumbled across it. It was only a very short clip that was passed over to me, and I listened to it, and something just resonated with me. You know, sometimes you hear stuff, and it just happens at a strange time, or it can happen at any time. And sometimes someone can be telling you something that's very similar to what someone else has told you, but the way this person's delivered it sticks better than the way the other person did, and it just resonates better. And that's what happened in this instance, because GETMO is ultimately saying, there's no such thing as perfection, and don't strive for perfection, because it's actually counterproductive. That's what GETMO is telling you, and I'll break it down and explain how. Well, GETMO is basically good enough to move on, and what they mean by that phrase is that we constantly strive, and it's a term that's used predominantly in kind of investing or business or something where you're building an asset for some kind and you're trying to get a better return. So it's like striving for that perfect investment. So this is kind of where it comes from. It was a financial based talk that I was listening to, and what he's saying is that understand the point in which an investment, the returns start dropping off based on the kind of effort or the setup or the strategy that is backing up. And what we mean by that is, let's just use property as an easy example, okay? Like, one of my business models is based purely around GETMO, okay? Good enough to move on. And it's the 2 Squared Academy that we run, and it's a strategy of putting just 2 individual over 35-year-old adults that are claiming benefits together, they're both claiming benefits separately, and move them into the same house on a joint tenancy. Okay, that's ultimately the strategy. But the returns you get, for example, if I'm looking at areas in the kind of east of England where I invest in, I was getting on an HMO, a house with multiple occupation, where I'm putting 4, sometimes 5 tenants in to a property. I was getting 1,700 a month maybe on the rent, something along those lines, whereas structuring it slightly differently with 2 older tenants in place and giving them 2 rooms rather than 1 room each means that I'm still able to kind of generate 1,550 or 1,550 a month. Now that to me is the perfect analogy of GETMO. I could switch it over to an HMO and get that extra £150 a month, which of course over the course of time compounds, and you think, oh yeah, I need to get that extra out of it. But no, I don't. I'm factoring it on GETMO, okay? And what I mean by that, it's good enough to move on. And the reason I say that is the extra work and effort that will go into generating that extra £150 a month, with the management headache, the fire safety regulations, all the stuff that kind of comes with HMO properties. It's past the point in which, with which the return is still going up at the same rate. It peters off. Because obviously the cost of the work, the cost of running that HMO have to be taken in consideration on the return. So actually the return starts diminishing at that point. So it's a perfect example. So I've kind of said, well, all of my HMOs I'm converting to 2 Squared, because it's, in actual fact, I've done the math on it as well, and it's actually more profitable over the course of time when you factor in accounts like the increased maintenance and wear and tear of HMO properties to single let. So I have done the figures on this, but this is a really good example. Whereas if you looked at a spreadsheet and think, oh, 100, you know, if it was £100 extra a month, or 1,200 quid a year, you know, I need to be getting that. And there'll be too many people that will strive to get that money. And in actual fact, it's good enough to move on at the 2 squared level. And in actual fact, it's more profitable doing so, but I'm just using this as an example because so many people do get caught chasing squeezing everything out of every single investment. And there is a point in the investment cycle where the returns start diminishing, meaning they've passed the peak and that you have to put extra in to get a little back. And at that point, you need to say, you know what, GETMO, and just move on. And that really resonated with me. And I now start looking at things thinking, okay, yeah, we could make more here, we could make more there. But then you start putting into consideration and analysing what it takes to get that extra. If it's a quick fix and it's a quick win, well, there's no such thing as a quick win generally, but if it is a straightforward process and you don't think you're past that point where your return is diminishing versus the time, effort, cost to set things up to get that extra return, then yeah, that's fine, crack on. But if you're questioning and if you're not sure, the answer is probably you're at GETMO. And I think that's a really cool way of kind of keeping yourself grounded, because perfection does not exist. You can strive for perfection. I've always been someone who likes to say I strive for perfection, but there is a point in time, GETMO, where the returns diminish for the amount of effort that you're putting into striving to get that extra out of it. And it kind of contradicts some of the other episodes I've done, but I think it's a good thing, and it will allow people to have clarity and make their own mind up on certain things. But this is something that, certainly from an investment perspective or a business perspective, we're constantly having new opportunities presented to myself. I mean, I've said before that this vlog has, although it's slow and it grows pretty slowly, there is a core number of people that do watch this relatively frequently and are quite committed to watching it. And it's really quite heartwarming hearing that, because you look at some of the figures and you think, oh God, no one's watching this. But in actual fact, the viewing figures may not be as high as a lot of people, but there are some people that do genuinely watch these videos and hopefully get something from them. And they're the ones that come to me and contact me with opportunities, with ideas, and it's really nice to kind of receive that feedback. And the point I'm kind of making there is that, you know, I'm doing this every day. It's no extra hassle for me to do it. It's part of my routine. It's part of my kind of productivity, well-being, positivity process. And but there's things I could add on to this and opportunities that get presented from it that I could go, yeah, I'm going to go for that. But in actual fact, it's starting something new. I'm already stretched with all the businesses I've got going on at the moment, and sometimes you just have to say, you know what, I don't have capacity, and turn things down, because you know, you're aware of what it's taking to kind of grow these businesses and ventures to a profitable level. And slightly digressed on what I was trying to say here, the joys of running and thinking at the same time. But I think the point I was making is the GETMO process. Is there's certain things that you can add to the mix just for the sake of it, and it actually would not increase with the extra workload and I think your profitability or your bottom line. And that's what GETMO is ultimately about, the efficiency of making money without return on investment. And if that return on investment starts dropping off, then that's the point in time where you say, you know what's GETMO. It's good enough, park that, keep it sustained at that level, and then you can look at other opportunities. And I think if you're not at GETMO on the stuff you're doing, don't go trying to bring in the new revenue stream or the new opportunity or the new thing, because it will just probably keep counterproductive from a financial standpoint, but also from a mental well-being standpoint, in that it's always stressful when you start something new or bring something new or add new workload to the table, and people don't often take that into consideration enough. So I've waffled long enough about this topic, but yeah, just to summarise, GETMO, GETMO, good enough to move on. It is the point in which your return on investment starts diminishing. So when you've got a return, yeah, I could eke a bit more out of this, but you know what? The time and effort I'm going to have to put in exceeds the extra income or return I'm going to get from that. So you know what? I'm going to park it and just run it at that level. I gave you the perfect analogy of the HMO and the 2 squared model being 150 quid a month difference in my area. But you know what? To get that 150 quid, it's going to cost me a lot more to kind of try and get that in headache, workload, resource, all these things. And okay, I might over the course of time make slightly more, but it's not worth it when you factor in the time commitment and everything that kind of goes into that. So hopefully that's been a nice, useful summary. So as always, if you've got any questions on this stuff, just drop me a comment. I'll respond to everyone. If that's a bigger topic or a bigger question, I'll still respond, but I'll probably do a separate vlog episode and tag you in. Running into a bit of a headwind now, so if there's a bit of a wind disturbance. If this isn't relevant to you, that's no problem. Just unfollow me on your social feeds. You don't have to unfriend me. Unfollowing will stop you getting all these videos on your social feed all the time. I don't want to clutter up people's feeds with irrelevant information. But before you do that, do check out the Runpreneur YouTube channel as I talk about a different topic on each day of the week. So just because today's is irrelevant, tomorrow's or another day's may be super relevant. So check out the YouTube channel because it's all catalogued nice and neatly by playlist, so it should be easy to find content that is relevant to you. Also, please check out the link in my bios where I'm starting to host free resources that accompany the vlog. The first one being my 70-step process to repurposing, reformatting and optimising your social content across all platforms. So if you are looking to get more content out there that's unique to each platform, that's optimised for each platform, and you want to see what I'm doing, check out my checklist and hopefully it'll give you a step-by-step process to do something similar. So that's pretty much it for me today. All that's left to say is the Runpreneur vlog was set up to help entrepreneurs and business owners overcome the emotions of stress, overwhelm and anxiety by using exercise, or in my case running, as a release mechanism, release valve to relieve those stresses on a kind of daily, weekly basis in order to keep clarity, focus and control of the situation so that you can thrive under these emotions that every single entrepreneur, business owner, or everybody experiences. And it's often the difference between success and failure, how well someone deals with them. The ones that do it well, as I've said, move on, they keep control, they thrive under the pressure in a positive way. The ones that don't bury their heads in the sand, the pressure builds, and it's like pressure building in a pipe. It gets too hot, the pipe bursts, and one of two things will happen. The entrepreneur will either have a mental breakdown or the business will break down, and either or is usually terminal to the likelihood of your business lasting the test of time. 1 in 10 businesses survive, so pretty damning statistic. And I think these three emotions are a significant driver for why that success rate is so low. So I've been there. I have lost countless businesses because of my inability to manage these emotions. I've lost business partners because of my inability to manage these emotions, and I've almost been bankrupt because I've buried my head in the sand in the past. And it's a horrible, horrible place. The worst place you could ever be, especially if you have dependents and things like family and stuff that you're supporting as well. So I don't want anybody to go through what I've been through. So my pledge to you is, if you are somebody who's feeling this pressure and not knowing where to turn, drop me a message, okay? There is no catch here. I'm not selling anything, nothing. All I want to do is jump on a call with you and give you a few implementable steps that you can integrate into your life that'll hopefully get you back on track and get you back on point and on to the right path rather than the path to failure. As I always said, that if this vlog just helps one entrepreneur or saves one business, it's been 1,000,000% worthwhile. So I'll continue doing it until I hear that I've actually saved somebody. But I've already had a few entrepreneurs take me up on this, and I'm confident that they're turning things around for themselves, which is super cool. So don't be stubborn, don't struggle with entrepreneurial pride, just reach out. You'll be surprised how much help is there, and you just have to ask. So I'll leave it there. That's all for me today. As always, if you like this episode, please give it a like, a comment and a subscribe on my YouTube channel. If you want to see more similar content, please check out the playlist link on the YouTube channel. And all that's left to say is, as always, stay positive, stay happy, and I will see you tomorrow.